Yay, we are live. All right, hello everybody. I am KJ. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome for those of you who are new and hopped on from Marissa's channel. I am joined by Christy Schuler and Timmy from Create with Timmy. All right, what are you guys working on for NaNoWriMo right now? Christy.
So I'm doing a brand new novel, women's fiction novel. It's actually my very first NaNoWriMo, so I was really excited about it. But yeah, it's going along pretty well at this point. I just hit the 31,000 word mark. Nice. So yeah, it's doing all right. I'm not really hitting my word count goal at this point. It's more getting all the rest of my scenes in. So that's really my focus right now, because I feel like I have, I've just gone a little bit too heavy on some of these scenes, and I need to just wrap them up and pump them out. So
yeah, I could see that. Just being like, I need to focus on the scenes more so than what the actual word count means. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, cool. And congrats on doing your first NaNoWriMo.
Thanks.
I like that. Yeah. Timmy, what are you doing?
Well, I finished my not my novel, just NaNoWriMo 4 days ago. 4 days it's for me because it's past midnight.
Yeah, you finished early.
And now I still have to write the ending, and after that the novel will be finished too. So
okay, awesome. That sounds good. So you think you'll be able to do that by the end of the month?
Yes, now I am taking a little break because I dictated through sore throat, and I want to take a little bit of rest with my throat.
Yeah, definitely gotta rest. Don't push yourself, because it'll get hard if you lose your voice. Then you just sit there and be like, okay, guess I'm not writing. Oh, all right. And for those of you who were in the last stream, yes, I have also finished NaNoWriMo 50,000 words, but I'm not done with anything. I'm a Nano rebel, so I'm always working on more than one thing during Nano. So the only thing I started from scratch was a prequel novella to my current WIP. So I did finish that. And it was about, I'm going to say like 15,000 words just on like the first draft. So just about what I wanted, because I had planned for 7 chapters. So I was kind of right on target for me. And I am revising my long WIP and just trying to get something done with that. And that's what I'm working on. And I'm working a little bit slower on that. And it's just, I'm okay with that. I'm hoping to finish that at the end of the year, basically, because I don't know, I'm at 50,000 words. 15 of that was on the novella. So I'm not very far, and I just have a lot left to go. Oh, okay. Let me see what other people are doing. Destiny Bridwell, nice to see you, said, I am planning a new project. I know this is dangerous for this late in the month. We lost Christy. Oh, this happens. She'll come back. Okay, so I wouldn't call that dangerous. Just because I do work on multiple projects. So I did actually start another project in the middle of this. So some of my word count is for a completely different project. I don't consider it dangerous. It's just, you're living on the edge, Destiny. It's fine. You gotta be a nano rebel sometimes. Claire says, I'm about ready to throttle Richard Branson. Why? And who is that? Tell me, Claire, I need to know. Christy!
I'm back. Sorry. My internet every now and then will just like kick off, and then I have to restart it. And okay.
Well, that's okay, because we're still here. If you just have to leave us again, I understand. Okay. I understand.
Not intentional.
All right. Stephanie Floyd said phone was almost dead, but we'll come back later. Okie dokie. And this is fun. Why does StreamYard keep just moving the comments like bye? I see everybody saying bye. Okay. Claire Boyle has 45,304 words. No thanks to your goofy internet. We all got goofy internet. It's okay. Wendy O'Reilly, I'm working on a Lord of the Rings fan fiction and planning a few of my other stories in the works. Awesome. I love fan fiction. I don't know how anybody else feels about fan fiction, but I love it.
I love Lord of the Rings. I used to be obsessed. So that sounds awesome to me.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I don't see a lot of Lord of the Rings fan fiction, but that's not where I would hang out, I guess. But it seems like it would be really good.
The world building is hard in Lord of the Rings, and maybe because of that.
The language and everything.
Maybe.
Oh my
God. And especially if you're writing fantasy and it's like so much fantasy is already inspired by Tolkien's work that it's like, yeah, might as well go to the source for some of your inspiration, right? Zoe Steele, I'm at 31,000, hoping for 35,000 today. I think you can do it. Oh, Claire Royal, okay, said Richard Branson owns Virgin, my internet provider is Virgin Media. Ah, okay, so you have my permission to throttle him. That's fine. Oh, all right. Lauren Clark says I'm at 16,000. So, okay, SOS. That's fine. That's okay. Like, don't stress about it. You still got time. And I don't know. I keep telling people, like, even if you don't make 50,000, like, don't stress about it. Like, it's supposed to be a fun challenge.
Yeah.
You're supposed to push yourself a little bit more, trying something new, but it's not the end of the world if you are not able to do 50,000 words in a month, because that is a lot. And this month is busy. So yeah, people are like, I'm so far behind. And I'm like, hey, you got some words written, right? Like 16,000 is more than I would have normally written in a month when I'm not doing NaNoWriMo. So it's like, you got to think about it that way, where it's like, hey, you're actually still getting work done. Like,
it's something you didn't have before, and you're that much further along. So yeah,
exactly. All right, I keep covering up your face. Sorry, Christine. I'm like, I gotta cover you up. Sorry. Chloe says, I'm already itching to go back through my manuscript. There's a part that I know needs reworking, so that'll be something I do tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm constantly reworking stuff, so I get you. I never stop doing that. I don't know when I'll stop doing it. At some point, somehow, I will know when it's ready. Sunny Lewis, sitting over 25,000 today and doing filler scenes, hoping to hit at least 33,000. Wow, that would be awesome if you could. And what do you mean by filler scenes? Just like fluffy scenes, or like the connecting scenes for like major events, because I think people use filler as different ways. Like when people say filler, I think a lot of times they mean like almost like unimportant scenes where they're just light, fluffy things that you can just read without the heavy stuff of the plot happening, So
that's transition scenes. Like transition scenes.
Yeah, so some people are just transition scenes, but some people write out of order and just need to actually write the like connecting scenes, and I'm just like, so. Wendy says, Lord of the Rings is my life at the moment. you gotta love Lord of the Rings, okay?
I know.
Gotta love it.
I need to rewatch it. I've been feeling like it, but I haven't yet.
The movies are so good. They're just really good, and I'm old, so I remember seeing the first one when I was in high school. Don't ask.
Yeah, no,
old,
same.
Okay.
I was in high school too. Don't feel bad.
I'm like, don't ask. I'm old. Okay.
My biggest crush was Orlando Bloom as Legolas.
Okay, was he not like everybody's crush when people saw him with the blonde wig and the ears and the blue eyes?
Yeah.
That, or like, Aragorn. That like there were really like two options for people, but they were just like, oh, they like the rugged Aragorn, or the soft pretty boy of Legolas.
Was anyone into Frodo? I don't know.
I love Frodo just because I love his storyline and like how everything ends for him. So I do like a lot of characters.
Sam.
And yeah, I love Sam. So oh, Lord of the Rings.
I know.
I'm like, oh God, a marathon Lord of the Rings. Okay, not during NaNoWriMo because that's like the entire day. So
oh my gosh. Yeah. That'll kill your time.
Oh. All right, Destiny. I'm at 76,000. I got book 1 and 2 of what I planned for both, but I was getting lost in it. I needed something else, so I need something new. I feel that. That's why, yeah, like sometimes I'm working on 3 projects at once. I'm not like Kate Kavanaugh, though, who's got her act together. Like, she is so good at juggling multiple projects, and I just sit here and I'm like, oh no, I started one, I didn't finish it, I just started it. That's all I did. I didn't nothing else. and Kate's just like, she's on point though, where she's like, yeah, I finished this one, and so I'm moving on to this one. I'm just like,
how do you ever feel like anything. You're finished? Yeah, nothing feels ever finished for me. It's like it can always be better, and I don't want to move on to the next thing.
Exact kind of funny. All right, I swear we'll get to sprinting in just a minute. I always like to take a few minutes just to chat with you guys. Claire doesn't write anything other than fan fiction. Okay, that's cool. Never read Loader because the font size is way too small. Hey, they might make versions with large fonts because the font is small in a lot of the books, but sometimes you just gotta find it or do an audiobook maybe. I don't know. That would be a long audiobook too, but okay. T. Leanne said I didn't know how I could use the WC from the project I started out with, the word count, until today, so I'm actually closer to 50K than I thought. Well, that's really cool then. Claire says I do have the audiobooks, but I haven't had time to listen to them. Yeah, because I just imagine that being just as long. You're like, you still got to take time out, right? Right. Let's see. Okay, y'all. StreamYard is so slow. Evie, let's see. Evie Redding said, I realized I have to cut an entire action scene I loved in my Act 1 and insert a setting scene in place. The readers need to know what is going on. LOL. True, the readers do need to know what's going on. But, you know, there's so many times where, you know, when people are giving advice, especially for like first chapters, which I don't particularly understand, that they're like, start in the middle of the action. And I'm like, the readers have no idea what's going on. They have no idea who the character is or what's happening. And so you sit there and you're like, am I supposed to be rooting for this person right now? Like, I have no idea what's happening, where they are. So I do like to set the scene a little bit before the action, because when I've read some books that they just pick up and this person's just running from something, and I'm like, who, where, what, when, why? I need all of that before I had to read about the action. So don't get too caught up in the setting, Evie. Like, it's okay, but set it and then get into the action, right? That's all we really need. Sunny Lewis has scenes to fill in, details, because I missed some in the first write. There's always details missing. But if you have a list of that must make it a lot easier. Chloe says, I try not to think in a NaNoWriMo mindset where I have to get the words. This month I'm trying to focus on a drafting mindset, so I'm drafting as I normally would. Okay. Christy and I, and Timmy and I, we were all talking about that Christy's trying like sprints and stuff. And instead of focusing on like the word count, she's focusing more on getting the scenes done. And I'm like, yeah, that's right. That's a good way to look at it, because we focus on the word count a lot, and it's like, where are we really going in the story? How much are we getting done of the story? So yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Because I really, my goal this month was to finish this rough draft as a whole. And so I'm really more focused on the story itself and not so much the word count at this point.
Same here.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Because that's the thing, is that's like, I I don't know, 50,000 words is like nothing for me. And that's not to say like it's not a huge amount of words for people. I just like in my book right now, 50,000 words is like nothing's happened. It's just there's so much that happens in the book that it is 260,000 words. So like to me, 50,000 words, I'm just like, there's a lot of those in this book. So
right.
there's a lot of nanos worth in this book.
Like
so
5 books in there.
yeah. So I was like, 50,000, like it doesn't mean a lot to me because I was like, okay, either I need to fix up my prose so that I can tighten it up, get more things to happen with less words, or I'm just gonna be in this problem forever.
Yeah, I think when I was working on my outline, I wasn't really thinking about it in terms of 50,000 words. I was more thinking about it, you know, I knew how many scenes I had in my last book that I just wrote. And so I was, which is about 90,000 words. And so there's a huge difference, you know, when you're approaching it from that mindset and you're thinking, oh, well, these are all the scenes that I really need. And I think that's why I am where I am right now, thinking, I don't know how I'm going to get to the end and get all these scenes in by the end of the month, you know, because I was really just focused on 50,000 words. But now it's more about the scenes.
Exactly. And I think that's a really good way to look at it, especially for people who get intimidated by the word count, you know? Like we don't want that. Claire Boyle says 50K isn't even the length of the first Harry Potter book. Right, exactly. So
yeah,
I heard that the original Nano, it was supposed to be not novel, but like novella, and it got autocorrected to novel. So 50,000 was not meant to be a novel because I was like, that's not the cutoff for a novel, really, unless you're writing like middle grade, maybe. Because I was like, really, 80,000 has been the standard cutoff for a book. Whether that's young adult or adult, like that's pretty much
or like
anything.
a classic, maybe. I mean, because I just read, actually, have either of you read No Plot, No Problem?
I haven't read that one yet.
Yeah, it was interesting because it was focused specifically on NaNoWriMo. It wasn't really like writing structure or anything like that. It was just strategies for NaNoWriMo. And
cool.
yeah, but I think he mentioned in the book that The Great Gatsby was like 45,000.
Yeah, there are a lot of classic books and books that still get published that, you know, they're like this big. And like I think that's fine because it's like if that's the length of your story, then that's totally fine.
Yeah.
But forever to be like, write your novel, write 50,000 words. And I'm like, 50,000 words is not even close for me to be done with a novel. Like it's maybe my halfway point if I'm lucky. And that, you know, that's just me. Claire's got to go for now. Okay, thank you for joining us, Claire. Hope we'll still be here for a little while if you're able to hop back on. But thank you for joining us. If you're not able to, you might already be gone, but that's okay. All right, let's do a sprint. I do have some more questions for you, Christy, but let's do some sprints.
Okay.
So I think most people are probably pretty warmed up because they were already in the last live stream. So what do we want to do for time? I know Timmy likes longer ones, but how are you feeling?
I am not going to dictate now. So what the people say in the comments.
Okay, whatever you guys want to do. 20? I'm seeing 20. All right, let's do a 20. It's like first come, first serve. Whoever I see first is happening. Okay, would you calm down? Calm down, computer. Stop. So much difficulty with this. I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know. All right, let's get the timer on the screen. Kippy, you get the timer on the screen. I'm trying, people. There we go. Okay. All right, 20 minutes. Let's get that on the clock. Yay. Oh, hi, Dawn.
Hi, Dawn.
times up. Yay. Alrighty. Let's get back in. All right. How did everybody do?
I think I did okay. I have to calculate. I have like a different software than I think a lot of people use, and so it's not always obvious like how many words I wrote. I don't know if anyone else struggles with the same.
What do you use?
It's called Babisco.
And oh yeah, that's right. I've heard you talk about that, but I still don't know what it is.
Yeah. I don't know if anyone does, but it's like a free, it's actually free, but it's similar to Scrivener in the way that you can kind of like organize everything and see it all laid out versus in Word, how it's, you have to scroll through everything. So I like that, but I am considering switching to Scrivener still because I think there are some things in Scrivener that this one doesn't have, but
okay.
Yeah. Let's see.
Interesting. All right, let's see. Chloe said, I think I'm going to have to call it a night after this sprint, but she got 466 words, so that's good. Let's see. Evie said she had to hop off, unfortunately. Happy writing, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye. We'll talk to Evie later. All right. Samantha Graff, 461 words. Good job. Zoe Steele, 513. Awesome. All right. Let's see. Please stop. Well, right when I'm going to click on something, StreamYard's like, no. All right. I couldn't figure out what my MC was going to make for the barbecue, so I posted a poll to have others vote. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. So until then, it's going to read, Dean had been craving barbecue all day and decided to stop at the grocery store on the way home to pick up some voted food here.
Yeah.
All right. Works good.
I've been doing that a lot in mine is the in parentheses.
Yeah.
Insert later.
Yeah. I haven't done that as much, but yeah, I'm just like,
Sometimes you just can't keep going, Yeah. I just get stuck.
Yeah, it's like when it's a time when you really just don't want to get stuck, it's like, yeah, okay, I'll come back to this.
Yeah.
I'll come back to this. But yeah, let's see. Sunny Lewis said, finished my rereading of my file, making my notes, but now got 366 words total. Awesome. I spent a lot of time during sprints like rereading stuff, going through my notes and everything, so whatever you gotta do. Christian Michael, 91 words, but I just got here. Welcome. 91 words is still good. Claire Boyle, 91 words as well. The 91 words twins, it's working. Okay. Wendy got 112 words. I'm on babysitting duty, and boy, is it hard to write with kids around. I was gonna say, I feel you there, but that's not me. Like, I don't have kids, but I watch all the vlogs with people who have kids, and I'm just like, how do y'all do it? How do y'all do it? Let's see, Don Kozak, 469. That's awesome. 208. Sydney, 512. Awesome. Chloe did say bye, everybody. Let's see. People are asking Wendy, how old are the kids? Is there any way you could get them involved with writing along with you? That'd be interesting, seeing if kids are interested in that. I was as a kid, like not every kid is, but I was.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't really get me to do my homework, but I could write you a story, no problem. Okay, stop that. Let's see, Destiny. I have Zoe Steele in a project I was working on before Nano. She is a vampire warrior working for secret society that protects the city she lives in. Awesome.
Cool.
Nice to have vampires being like the protagonist, right? I feel like a lot of vampires end up being, if they're not antagonists, they're like, I don't know, they're maybe like in the gray somewhere, and you're just like,
Right.
Okay, that's fine.
Always fighting their, inner urge to feed on humans.
Right, exactly, right. Yeah. There's always a little bit of darkness there, but still, nice to have a hero going on. Away from Harbor, 774, awesome, good to see you. All right. And then Zoe Steele said, I wish I was that cool, because she has the same name as the character that Destiny's writing. So that's funny.
Yeah.
I like that. He says, my 9-year-old is in the process of writing his own story too. Following in the footsteps. Got to get them while they're young. No. No, I feel like you got to support them though, because I didn't really get support for creativity. So it took me a long time to realize that like I could actually do things like write the books that are in my head,
Yeah. I think that would be so cool to have a kid that writes, and that we could relate to each other in that way. And I just think that'd be so much fun.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't want children, but yeah. It's nice to encourage people, especially when they're young and they're discovering what they like to do. And kids are often so creative. And I find it just depends that sometimes parents don't encourage that. And I'm just like, why? Like, what's the problem with them being creative and stuff? I don't get it.
Yeah. And it's just such a great way to express yourself, especially when you're young. I kind of discovered my love of writing kind of later on. It was more in high school, but that was such a great outlet for me to just, be able to express things that I couldn't express otherwise. And so for that reason alone, I mean, that's one of the reasons I think, it's so important to encourage.
And the healing effects are also benefic part of it, because as a psychologist, I can say that writing out your feelings, your emotions in a story, even if it is fictional, still they are your feelings, and they help a lot to resolve your problems.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So, yeah, I don't do that as much right now, but I do recommend it for kids if they are able to. Like, instead of just being like, oh, journal out your feelings, it's like, write a story, and inevitably their feelings will be in the story, because that's just kind of how it works. You write what you know, right? Like, Zoe says, I'm only 14 and I've loved writing my whole short life. Well, hello, young writer. Glad you could join us. Because, the whole thing of NaNoWriMo is that it's supposed to be for the youth. Like, really, like, that's what they started out, was being a youth program and encouraging young writers. So I really like that. She says, my dad is an author too, so that's cool. Okay, so it runs in the family. Like, I love that. Lena writes, says, hi, I just got here. Hello. I just saw in the description that you're in the hashtag Nano House Cup. What is that about? I've seen it around, but I'm not sure how to participate. Timmy, I think you know more about that than I do.
Well, it's hosted by Brittany Wang on Instagram, and it's like a house cup from Harry Potter, and there is all the 4 houses. Every house has a professor, a mentor. The Ravenclaw mentor is Maverick Moses. I don't know how is.
Yeah, something like that. Maverick Moises.
Yes, maybe. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Names.
And you can join with the hashtag using Nano House Cup, or using your house, like Nano House Cup, let's say Ravenclaw, or Nano House Cup Hufflepuff, or the others.
Yeah. We're not really competing, though. It's just like, it's more that like you can find other people, and it's just another way to support people during the NaNoWriMo. Like so like I use House Cup Slytherin because that's mostly what I am. I'm like half Slytherin, half Hufflepuff. So like I just chose one. And yeah, you find other people that way through the hashtags. I think they're mostly used like on Instagram right now. I think is the place I've seen them most often. So people tend to find each other that way. And yeah, it's just a fun little way, just another community aspect.
Last year it was a Facebook group, but she decided to host it on Instagram this year.
Well, that's good, because a lot of us don't have Facebooks, like me. So, Claire Boyle says, I'm old. Welcome to the club. The oldies over here. I love it. Okay. Abby H said, I started writing at 11. I'm 14 now. Awesome. Another young writer. I love this. I love having young writers. Welcome. Welcome. Welcome, young writers. Tremolo says, I'm 28, writing on a bar. Haha. Just hit 28K. Awesome.
What are you drinking?
Christy wants to know what you're drinking.
Recommendations.
Recommendations, yeah. Tremolo says, I'm a Slytherclaw. I know people like dog on the hybrid houses, and I'm not like a huge Harry Potter fan, but I did take the test, and I was literally 51% Slytherin, 49% Hufflepuff. Like, if I could have been even, like I probably would have been, but that was just, I was just like, it was like 0 Gryffindor, 0 Ravenclaw. Yeah. And I was like, okay, what do those two things have in common? Because I know people say Slytherin and Hufflepuff go well together, but I was like, what is it about me that is both so ambitious, loyalty, and friendly? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm a Ravenclaw, Gryffindor. I'm gonna run that end, but I don't really know too much about what that means about your personality. I haven't really done the research.
Yeah, you know what? I find a lot of good stuff on Pinterest about it. Like people post their own interpretations of it, which is something that I really find interesting. Like what the houses mean to them, or what they think it should mean. Because like in the books, it's you know, the house representation isn't great for everybody. Yeah. Slytherins.
Yeah.
Hufflepuffs get mentioned a couple times. Like, you know, so I really like that it came more from the fandom who loves Harry Potter, who said, you know, this is what our house means to us for the people who identify that way. So it's become part of a way to create characters as well, is to put them in the house. And I have no problem putting them in a hybrid house too, because I'm just like, obviously, and I was like, yeah, you're at 12 years old, you're supposed to just feel like, yeah, I'm in one, and I'm like, we're adults and we're getting more than one. So I'm just like children can be complex, you know, like it's okay. Dawn says, I'm a muggle. Well, Dawn, you gotta join the magical club, okay? I don't even know that much about Harry Potter, but I know what house I am. Claire Boyle says, I don't have Instagram. Well, why not? I like it better than Twitter, because Twitter I have a lot of negativity on Twitter. So I don't know. Every time I go on there, there's some drama, and I'm just like, I ain't got time for drama. Like,
yeah, I have some complaints with Twitter because I feel like it's really hard to keep up with the people that you want to keep up with. And then on the home screen, you see a bunch of people that you're not even following, which I don't understand. And then, so it's just, I don't know. I mostly use it for like writing events. I used it for like the CP match events.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. Yeah, I really like
critique partner, if anyone doesn't know CP.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Finding a critique partner. And I think the Pit Mad. But that's
all of those pitching stuff. Yeah, still happens through Twitter. But I think if you don't use something like TweetDeck or something that you can put people into groups, like that's one of the only ways you'll be able to keep up with your actual friends.
Wait, what is that you said?
I use TweetDeck, so
Okay,
you would
I don't know.
start on your computer, and you can put people into lists, and it basically turns into columns. So it's like you can have your home screen where you see everything. You can have your friends list. You can have people who are just authors, or your friends, or
I'm gonna write this down.
Published authors that you follow, that type of stuff. So
okay,
I am all for list making in like all social media, because I'm waiting for that for Instagram, because Instagram is turning into the same thing where I'm like, where are all my friends' things? Like,
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I get mostly ads at this point, and I'm just like, okay, thanks. Like, I see ad after ad, and I'm just like,
yeah,
where are my friends? I know they're posting. Tremolo said drinking a sample seltzer at the moment.
Okay.
So, yeah. Claire said Gryffindors tend to act first and ask later, and Ravenclaws are very, very book smart.
All right, that's good to know.
Claire says Instagram is for young people. I'm not young anymore, and I don't use my phone like that. Well, that's fine too. Like, it's okay to not have the social media, but like if you're on YouTube, most of us are on YouTube. I think we just use Instagram as like an extra place for the youngins, because yeah, I didn't like Instagram at first. It took me a while to warm up to it.
It can be fun though. I started having more fun with Instagram when I started participating in the monthly challenges.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, I do like that. Sometimes I can't keep up with like all 30 days, but it is fun to
hop
try.
in and out. Yeah.
Let's see. Zoe says, my parents won't let me have social media to talk to my friends, but they'll let me write with strangers on the internet like I'm doing right now. Well, Zoe, this is what I find funny about like this day and age, where it's like, you know, strangers on the internet, don't talk to strangers on the internet. And I'm like, that's pretty much all any of us ever do right now, is we talk to strangers on the internet until they're no longer strangers and they're our friends. Like, oh, it's very interesting. And I do believe that like social media at a young age cannot be great, because there's already a lot of drama, and then social media causes a lot of drama. I watched it happen with my cousin. By 12, she got a phone, and like within the year, it was taken away because there was too much drama happening between her friends in the class. Like, I laugh about it, but I was like, what is happening? Like, drama.
Yep, same. I have a younger sister, and it's something about, I don't know, they all get each other's phone numbers, and it just wasn't like that when
and then if someone's not following you, like, that's just a total diss, and you're like, I'm like, oh God, like, I'm so glad I didn't grow up in this generation, okay? Like, oh. Let's see. Monty says, I mostly use Tumblr. I'm not even sure if it classifies as social media, though. I think it did. I mean, it was a blogging platform. I'm not sure what it really is now. I don't think as many people use Tumblr as they did before Yahoo bought it, because it, you know, obviously some of it changed, but I don't hear people talk about Tumblr as much anymore, which is interesting. So, but I still like it. It's just, I kind of gravitated away from it. So, I don't know.
Never really got into Tumblr.
Yeah, it's something that, it was one of those things that, like, I was big on LiveJournal, and then Tumblr took over, and it was so different from LiveJournal that I was
I
like,
remember LiveJournal.
Yeah, I'm like, I want LiveJournal back. Like, having your own blog, and then having friends, and then being able to join communities of people. I was like, there was nothing wrong with LiveJournal except for the way the people who were running it had their rules, and so people had problems with that. But that format I really loved. Like, I was like, what was wrong with that? Now we all have to have separate blogs that no one is able to read or find. And like, communities are just on social media and really hard to find and keep track of. And I was just like, I miss the communities of LiveJournal.
Yeah.
I'm old. I'm sorry. I miss the Communities of Life journal.
Well, speaking of being old, do you remember on Facebook where it used to prompt you and it would say your name and it would be like, is feeling this? And there was like a prompt. And so it's funny going back because Facebook will say like a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever. And my status, it's so funny because I would just finish that sentence. And so they're incomplete sentences when you go back a certain number of years. I just think it's so funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I had a personal Facebook a long time ago, but like I just stopped using it, and then I try to create one now, and Facebook's just like, nah. So I'm like, okay, like I tried twice, and they just were like, nah. They're like, we'll get back to you. No one did, so I'm not on Facebook, and that's why. Because I know that they have groups, and like that would be the next closest thing is like Facebook groups. But so many of us are not on Facebook.
Yeah.
Not even by choice sometimes. But like,
I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook. Mostly just family stuff.
And see, and that's what I like. Yeah, to me, it's a personal thing. But I like Kim Chance and everybody. Like a lot of people are on Facebook, and they do their writing streams on Facebook and everything. So I wanted to, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know. I'm okay where I'm at right now. So yeah. Abby H says, I don't really get into the drama on Insta and Twitter, but I don't post much either. I mostly use it to see what people are doing and when books are being released. Yeah, that's pretty much how I am too. I'm posting a little bit more for NaNoWriMo, trying to be a little bit more active. But all right, before we get on to the next sprint, Chrissy, I wanted to ask you because you said you're writing women's fiction, and I want more clarification on what that actually means. Like,
okay. I was like, okay, you don't know how many people have asked me this when they hear that I'm writing women's fiction. They're like, wait, but what is that? It's kind of a very general. It's a very general genre, and I feel like a lot of different books really fit into it. But basically it's from what I understand is the protagonist is primarily female and the subject matter is primarily aimed towards women and those kinds of things. It's not the same thing as romance, but there may be romance in it. Generally contemporary, and yeah, it's kind of got a really wide range of subjects. So I don't know if that really answers your question.
So is that that's like the audience more than just like the genre, because there can be different genres and still be considered women's fiction? Or
well, that is the genre, but I've seen other like the audience is typically older adults, not older adults. The audience is typically it's adult fiction. So yeah.
Okay.
So like I can give you some examples of authors that would be like have you ever heard of Emily Giffin? She writes a lot of women's fiction. Or Lauren Weisberger, Devil Wears Prada. You haven't heard of the Devil Wears Prada?
I have not read any women's fiction apparently.
No, that's fine. No, that's because you're asking. It's fine. Or like Jojo Moyes wrote Me Before You, but that one's more of a romance. But that's not. It's like Jojo Moyes writes. She writes some that are more romantic, and then some that are more about and different things. But yeah, it's
okay.
Yeah.
What is yours more about? Like if you said like there's like a little bit of romance, what's it more about that makes it women's fiction?
So the way that I interpret it is that it's not it's not centered around a romance, and that it's more about like family relationships or friendships or maybe career issues, something like that, and there may be a love story in it, as like a subplot or something, but I think, and I'm not an expert, but I think that there are some women's fictions that are more romantic.
Okay, because that's what I told, I don't know who it was, if it was Evie, like somebody asked about women's fiction, and I was like, I want to say it's something that's more oftentimes like family oriented, family and friends. Like it's not a romance where that's the point of the story.
Yeah,
it's like the other stuff happening in the person's life that is the story, you know. So I wasn't sure if I was right in thinking that, because I was like, I don't know that I've read very much of that, but to me, that's what it meant, where I was like, it's probably contemporary, but it's focused on life. Like a lot of stuff that I think of women's fiction I see as like intergenerational as well. So you see multiple people in the family in the story. So stuff like that I get like.
Yes, so you might have like mother-daughter, multiple POVs. Actually, my critique partner, hers is like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a mother-daughter, and it goes back and forth. And yeah, so that's why I said it's pretty broad, and there's a lot that you can kind of fit into it. And so it's kind of hard to describe for that reason. But I think that it's also kind of developed over the years, because for a while it was referred to as chick lit. And that
I was gonna say, because I was like, when everyone's like, "Oh, it's geared towards women," and I was like, people said that about chick lit, but that's supposed to be more like fluffy, light reads, right?
Yeah, which, I feel like it kind of got a bad name, and
one of those like, oh, it's chick lit, so it's you know, it doesn't mean it's not worth anything, and you're just like, why do you keep doing this to women? Like,
and that's what I really like. That's what I really like about Emily Giffin. She's actually my favorite women's fiction author, because her books are more, I hate to use the word deep, but like they're just, you know, they have more more going on, and they're All
right. Bye, Dawn. We'll see you later. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's kind of how I think about it, where I was considering it compared to like chick lit, where I was like, I just think chick lit is lighter and fluffier. Whereas I was like women's fiction, I was like, it tends to be a little bit more on the almost contemporary lit end of things. Sometimes is what I think about it as. So it's a little bit more serious sometimes. So
I would say so. More serious.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Timmy, are you still good to hang around for a while? Yeah? Okay. All right. So let's do another sprint. What do you guys want to do now? We can do another 20. We can do a little bit longer. I am up for whatever you guys want to do. I was just saying it's 3:07. It's 3:07 for me, so it's 07.
Okay. 5:07 for me.
So whatever anybody would like to do. 20, 25. If anybody's still watching. I was good with the 20. How about you?
Yeah, I felt pretty good.
Then I'm making an executive decision. 20. 20. Okie dokie. Let's get it back on the screen. And let's go. is up, 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 up. Alrighty. How did everybody do for that 20 minutes?
I almost fell asleep.
Timmy, it's late where you are, right?
Yes, it's 1 and 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Oh, you can head off, you know. It's like...
If it's not a problem, then I will say goodbye and good luck on writing.
Absolutely. For anybody still watching, Timmy is doing a live stream tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'll be on her channel. It's linked down below. So we will both be around at that time. So for anybody who wants to do some sprints on Sunday, we'll be there.
And
all
after
right.
that, on KJ's channel.
Yeah, I'll be doing another one after that. So I like to do 4-hour blocks of time sprints. Okay. All right. Timmy, thank you for joining us.
Bye.
Bye. Good night.
Night.
Hi, Amara.
Hi, Amara. All right. Let's see how you guys did. All right. First, I see Nishia. Hey, I'm new. Good luck, everyone. Well, thank you. We should be doing at least one more sprint, so don't worry. Let's see. Samantha Graff. Only 67 words. I got distracted. After Christy mentioned Emily Griffin, I looked her up. Her books sound very appealing, and I think I'm going to check them out.
They're awesome.
That sounds good, too. Yeah, no, it's an author I haven't heard of, so I'm, like, very interested to find out more about it. That's how I was after beta reading for Rayleigh Bradshaw. That suddenly I was like, I must read more Westerns now. Like...
I know. I was so bummed that I didn't get to beta read for her. I wanted to.
Well, you'll probably get it the next time around after she's finished like reworking it, and I think that'll be really fun because it's a really interesting story. So I was like, I gotta read more Westerns that are no, it's really good. And it's funny because Natalia Lee is doing a Western too, and for a while really was like, I don't know if anybody even writes Westerns anymore. And then this past year, Natalia was like, so I'm writing a Western. And I was like, see, Rayleigh, you're in good company. Like,
yeah. And I feel like there are a lot of writers out there that write your genre, but sometimes it might just be that you're just not following those people or you don't know about them. And that's what happened to me because, I write contemporary, you know, and it seems... At first, it seemed like everyone writes fantasy. You know, I just kept hearing about fantasy, and so I thought, is anyone going to read this? You know, but I know there's so many people out there that read and write, you know, contemporary women's fiction, romance. So,
yeah, absolutely, and a lot of us are like, even if we write a certain genre, like I read everything. So that's what I find interesting is that it's like, there are seemingly a lot of us who write fantasy, so I find that interesting. But gotta get
and I love exploring new genres and reading new stuff too. It's always fun
especially when you can get like recommendations for authors and books that you're like, you know, read this because, you know, that's a good introduction to the genre. I like that. All right, Sunny got 520 and a second scene done. Very good. Awesome. I was also able to finish a scene, so I'm good with that. Let's see. I hate writing in the day with all these dang interruptions. I think I'm going to stop until people go to bed. Well, that's okay. I'm not sure if there's any more sprints later tonight since it is Saturday, but who knows? Maybe somebody will pop up. It's going to be me. I'm going to be like, in like 3 hours, I'm going to be like, so I'm popping up again because I can't stop. You can't get rid of me. All right. Ariel said 424. I just joined the stream this last round. Awesome. Good to have you. I'm sure we will be doing one more sprint at the very least. Lena, 847 on a bit of a roll today. Very good to hear.
That's awesome.
Amara says, sorry, I missed most of the slide. I am working. Well, you know, that's a good reason, is when you're working. So that's okay. Claire Boyle, 188 words. Had to do a bit of research on whether Radio City Music Hall or Rockefeller Center has a cinema. Interesting. I do not know. I live in California. I have no clue. Oh, let's see. Said it's 11:30 p.m. here. There's a piece of me that wants to call it a towel for tonight. I love that. But yeah, that's perfectly respectable, because that's usually when I stop writing too. If I've been writing for a lot, I usually stop by 11 or 11:30. Taya, 2:15. Abby H, 2:26. I have no idea what my characters have been doing, but they're finally getting back on track. Good. Good to know.
Good feeling.
Yeah, sometimes I just keep writing even when I don't know what exactly is happening or where they're going, and I'm like, we'll figure it out.
But it's such a good feeling when it clicks and you're like, okay, I'm back.
Yeah, you're like, yeah. And then sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna have to go back and figure out if I was meandering too much. Like, I got back on track now, but like, how far off track did I get?
Yeah.
In my 260,000 words, like somewhere I got off track. Oh, okay. So yeah, I finished the scene. That's pretty much it. Like, I'm not really tracking my words right now. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got 543. And I think, in 20 minutes, I've come a long way with these writing sprints. When I first started doing it, I'm very to this. At 10 minutes, I think I was doing like 200 words or something.
That's me. Yeah.
Yeah. So it and sometimes, you know, some scenes are just easier to write.
Of course.
It just depends on what kind of a scene it is and like what they're talking about, and if it's something, I don't know. I'm in a scene that's a little bit harder to write, just because I know in general what I want to happen, but I just didn't think through all the interactions and everything that was going to happen, and I'm really just trying to get to this like really juicy scene that I am really excited to write. And I think maybe that's part of the reason that I'm just like not really feeling these other scenes, because I just want to get to that other one.
Yeah, so some people would say skip those scenes and write the one you really want to write right now, and then back later. So it's like, if that works for you, then go for it. For me, I just struggle through the swampy parts that I'm just like, I don't know, this is dragging. And then I have this fear that I was like, if I feel like it's dragging for me, the writer, is it going to feel like it's dragging for the reader? Yeah. So it's like, I'm very aware of that when I go back to revise, that I'm like, oh yeah, I was struggling with this part. Is it shit? Like, do I need to rewrite everything because I didn't know what I was doing? Yeah, no.
That's the number one question I ask is am I bored when I'm doing my read through? Is like, I don't want to be bored. I don't want people to be bored.
Exactly. Yeah. And I just, anytime I'm struggling, I'm just like, if I'm struggling, I don't know how a reader is going to feel at this point. And I know my characters, I know what's supposed to be happening. So, so that's very much on my mind whenever I start to slow down or struggle with the scene. And I was like, I know it could just be in my head. And maybe I do just want to write something that's more entertaining, like one of the action scenes, than the introspective, talk about my feelings scene, because none of my characters like to talk about their feelings. So those scenes are really hard to write, because like I have, it's not pulling my teeth, it's pulling their teeth to try to get them to talk about their feelings. And I'm just like, will you just cooperate for once?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Wendy says, meandering is my middle name when I don't know where the story is going. Yeah, I mean, sometimes that's what you got to do, is meander for a little while until you figure it out. I mean, technically that's what like outlining is for. but sometimes I still end up meandering. Like I sit there and I'm like, yeah, I know, I see that point of where it needs to go.
Yeah.
But it's meandering to get there because I'm just like, I did not think this all the way through because I can't plan all the way through. I haven't written the story yet. So like outlining for me only does so much. Like I'm like, I don't know the whole story until I finish the first draft and then I know the story.
Yeah.
So then I redo my outline and I'm just like, I don't know. It's a long process. Like I don't suggest people do it that way, but like that's how it happens to me. I try to outline, inevitably everything changes. And it just makes me have to do like 5 more revisions than necessary for most people. And I'm just like, whatever. I'm used to it at this point.
Yeah. I definitely outlined this novel with knowing that it was going to change. And so I think there were a couple of beats where I didn't fully flesh them out. I had a general idea of what I wanted and very rough scenes, but not you know, I just didn't have everything fully fleshed out. And but yeah.
I always want to know like what it means to writers to have a fully fleshed out outline, because I know mine are pretty bare bones, but I sit there and I'm like, my points basically are like, they fight.
Yeah.
The fight goes on too long. This character has to come in. And like, that's all right for these plot points. Like I don't write any of the details unless there's like some pieces of dialogue that come to me with the scene, then I'll write those down.
Yeah.
But actually saying like what the plot point is, I'm like, they go to a club. There's an attack.
Yeah.
people are running. It's chaos. But then actually writing it, it takes me like 50 pages to write that entire thing because stuff of actually happening. And I'm just like, yeah, that's not fully fleshed out. That's me just going like, yeah, there's something coming up the pipeline for them, but like, so that's why it's like every plot point, something can change because I've written such a vague outline. Like, it's like, yeah, this happens. And by the time I get there, I'm like, I've written something completely different. Got to change the path.
Yeah.
Oh, well, bye, Claire.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us. So good night.
I think that so this outline, because I was running out of time, I didn't really get to the scene level. But in my what happened with my last story, I had a very rough outline, and my rough draft ended up being completely different from my second draft. But what I did was I completely redid the outline, and I took a really long time I actually did get down to the scene level to where I was writing out motivations for the scene. And that really helped me. And I wanted to do that this time around, but I just ran out of time. And I also was wrapping up a revision on this last novel because I was trying to get out and stuff. Because I didn't want that to be in my brain during NaNoWriMo, my last story. So but yeah, so I didn't get to the scene level. I know what you mean. And it's hard when you just have a very vague idea of what the scene is supposed to be about and then trying to make something out of it.
Yeah, but usually like I'm pretty good at it because writing is how I discover what the characters are like, what their story is.
Yeah.
It's like I only have a vague idea of the story because I haven't written it yet. So it's like I won't know what the complete story is until I finish it. So to me, I'm like, my outline is always vague for that reason. And even when I'm feeling like, why is this happening? I keep going with it. Where I'm like, who is this character? Why are they here? Then it's like later on, I'm like, oh, they fit here. Like I started to connect the dots. And I'm like, okay, some part of my brain is working on it. It's just not like my consciousness, like knowing what I'm doing. It's some part of me knows and just trusts the writing process. Because sometimes I'm like, I have no idea why I'm writing this right now or why I'm changing this plot line.
Yeah.
But then it ends up working out better in the end. And I'm like, okay, I get this. So yeah, I don't know. I've tried getting to the scene level and actually writing out the scene cards and being like, yes, here's the setting. Here are the characters involved. here's what happens, here's the motivation, here are the consequences, and the next my brain fizzled out after like a few, and I was just like, I can't get past act 1 doing this because I guess one, this story is long, so that makes me tired just trying to plan out all the scenes when I'm like, oh god. And I switch point of views, so between 3 characters, and I'm like, well, what is a scene versus the point of view? Because I'm like, is a scene when just a single thing is happening? Because I was like, oh, this starts to get confusing. That's why I don't have chapters.
Oh, you don't? Okay, because that was going to be my next question: is do you break it out by chapters? It's
no.
Oh, okay. Okay. Huh.
Yeah, because I haven't figured that out yet. Like, I have it by parts because of how it's outlined in my story right now is the parts, which is fine. But until then, I'm just switching between 3 perspectives. And
have you read the Mortal Instruments series? Because that was the first one that came to my mind when you described how you're doing it. Is I think, especially in the later ones, I think that's the series that I have in my mind, where they switch perspectives in the middle of a chapter. And so I don't know, that could be a good one to look at and see kind of how she does it.
Yeah, because I was like, I guess it doesn't necessarily matter if I have chapters, but like, so much happens that it's like, there'll be a point of view where you do get like that break in between the scenes, you know? So I don't know. Like, it's one of those things that I have to look at when I get beta readers.
Yeah.
And being like, does this need chapters? Like,
yeah.
And tell me, where would you stop chapters? Because I have no clue. All right, let me see. Coffee, books, and bullet journals. Hello. Said I had a pretty detailed outline for the first half, and I found that the scenes did not come very easily because of it. I'm definitely going to have to go back and add fluff. Yeah, so for some people, it's like the details make it too hard, and yet others, they have to have all those details already mapped out for them so that they know they can just pull out the next scene and go, this is what I'm writing. And it's basically everything that they know. And I'm just like, wow, that is not me, but wow, like.
Yeah, my rough draft's kind of ending up more like kind of a shell of a story right now, but I'm totally okay with that because like kind of like what you were saying, I'm getting to know my characters as I'm going through the process of writing it. And I mean, every now and then I'll have a little bit more personality, you know, one of their personalities will start peeking through and I'm like, oh, that's who you are, you know, which is awesome. But I feel like in my next round, when I get to do the read through and actually see, okay, you know, like, where is this going? Where do I want it to go? I can kind of make notes, adjust my outline, and then fill everything in my next draft. But that's just me. I feel like that's sort of like the process that I kind of started in this last book that I just wrote.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing because I had my original outline for like the series. It was messy. It didn't really match what I'd written with the first draft. So I was going back and revising for the second draft. That took me a long time. I added 150,000 words to the manuscript. I'm not really sure why or how, but I did. And now I was like, okay, now I'm on draft 2.5. I'm reading through it again. I'm using Scrivener for the index cards that they have so that I will be able to see scene by scene. And like, if I get to the halfway point, like, I don't know, because I don't think my midway point is a strong enough event for the climax of a book, you know, because I wrote it to be the halfway point of this book. It wasn't supposed to be the climax event. And so it's something I have to really look at if I'm trying to split the book up, is the actual order of events. So I'm doing that, and then I will just basically re-outline it from all those scene cards that I'm populating. And I'm just like, it's a lot of work because that means a lot of scene cards for every point of view, and it's a lot. But I'm thinking that's one of the only things that's going to help me figure out what to do, besides getting like some beta readers to be like, please help me. does any of this make sense? Can I make a single story out of this? Because I don't know. I'm stuck on my ending for the book being the end for book 1 in my head. So for me, it's like, oh, they're like split it up. And I'm like, but then that becomes the book ending for book 2. And that's just not right in my head. So like,
yeah, it's one thing for, you know, people to have opinions if they haven't read it, but you know the story. And so
yeah,
it could be really helpful to have someone read it and then give you feedback.
because right now I'm just in here going, you don't understand. Like, I don't wrap anything up in the end because nothing gets resolved until the end of the series. I have people, Don Kozak is like, well, you know, Lord of the Rings is kind of like that. Like, you can separate the books, but really nothing gets resolved at the end of them until the actual story is resolved. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of how it is. I was like, I'm still trying to make it so that it seems like a little bit of a resolution happens enough.
Yeah.
But so many people are like, you have to have a complete book. And I'm just like, this particular trilogy or quartet, whatever it is not like that. Like, everything introduced in book 1 is still a problem in book 4. Like, that is when it gets resolved. And I'm just like, why am I doing this to myself? So that's where I have trouble, where it's like, I'm trying to think about it on a series level as well. And I'm just like, oh gosh, like if I split each book up now, then it's going to be longer than I originally anticipated as well. So
that's something that I haven't had to deal with yet because everything's been standalone. But there is a series in mind that I want to write eventually, and it's I can't decide what it is, if it's more of a sci-fi or I think it's more of a sci-fi, but it'll be a while before I write it. But yeah, I just hearing you talk about breaking up the series and stuff, that's something I'm gonna have to figure out eventually.
And it's one of those things where people say to consider outlining a series with the same structure that you would a book, where book 1 is the beginning, and if you're doing a trilogy, then book 2 is your middle, with the end point of the series, and then book 3 has like the climax and the resolution of the series, and it makes sense that way.
Yeah.
Until I'm trying to write a series, and then I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh no, what is happening? Like, yes, this first book is definitely the beginning. And so it's like, I can see that structure happening for me, but I was like, oh no, if I'm starting to split things up, I don't know what that's going to mean anymore. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. All right. Do we want to do one more sprint?
Sure.
Do we want to do a shorter sprint?
Sure.
Like 15 minutes, maybe?
Oh, yeah, that's a good idea. I didn't realize what time it was. Wow.
Yeah, that's because I keep talking.
No, it's great. I love it.
One of these days, I want to do like an actual, like, it doesn't have to just be writing sprints, but like where we do get the chat about writing stuff.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Because I feel like we do get to chat as we go, but it's not the same, because like then we're still trying to get words written, and it's like, sometimes we just like to chat about what's going on in our books and all that kind of fun stuff. So I'm like, once a week we need to just be able to chat about our books and outlining and what we're doing different. Like,
I know.
I want to hear about your experience with the Kanban board, because I still haven't tried it yet. So yeah. Alrighty, everybody. Those of you still with us, we're gonna do one more 15-minute sprint, and then we will probably call it. So here we go. 15 minutes. Well, let's time.
All right.
All right, that was a pretty good sprint
Yeah.
for our last sprint.
Yeah. I got 417.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's good.
Pretty good
People
about
are now wondering what a Kanban board is.
I saw that. I was laughing. So basically it's divided into 3 sections. So you've got like that's my dog.
Oh, puppy.
Yeah. She's just sitting staring at me.
No, it's just a little nose.
Yeah. She's literally just sitting there staring at me and wagging her tail.
Oh gosh.
Like, what are you doing?
She wants love.
Yeah. Oh, but it's got 3 sections. One is like TBD, the activities that you need to do. The next one is in process, and then the other one is completed. So basically, as you're working through tasks, you're moving them to the different columns.
And I think I told them, because Marissa has done some videos on it, and Sarah Cannon from Heart Breathings as well. And Sarah does hers slightly differently, where she groups things by like the category of what she wants to get done. So she has like her writing, and then she has like the publishing marketing stuff, and then she has just the general admin type stuff. And all that has its own to-dos, and then they all get moved down to the middle for in progress, and then to completed. So it's like you can kind of tweak it for however you need it. And I like it because I think she uses it like quarterly, basically. Like, this is what she plans out for the quarter.
That's a good idea.
Which I like. But then it's like, for me, I also kind of need to break it down further than that. Because, yeah, I can see that all this needs to be done in a quarter, but it's like, okay, what can I get done each month?
Yeah.
And then I need to break it down by the weeks to be like, okay, what do I need to accomplish this week in order to meet the monthly goal, you know? So I was like, the quarterly system works, but I was like, I need a way to actually further break that down. And I guess that's what like a lot of planners are for. The Kanban board is just a broad overview of what it is. So yeah,
and it's that like hit of dopamine, you know, when you like move something over and you feel so accomplished.
Yeah, you're like, yes, I got something done.
Yes, that visual, you know, if you're a visual person.
Yeah,
but planner for sure.
Yeah, I know, and I'm definitely a planner person, so I think I'm going to start using a Kanban board for 2020 and see how that works for me. I'm sort of bad about like planning the goals out and then actually like sticking to them. So like I have to work out a system, because I can be like, yeah, these are my plans, and then like none of them get done, and I'm just like, wow, what happened? It's like, what did I do for 3 months? I don't know. Not the things I thought I was going to do, that's for sure. So like
yeah, sometimes I definitely set realistic goals for myself. It'll just be like way too much in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, that's basically my problem, is that I'm like, I'm underestimating the time it takes me to actually complete a task. So I'm like, I'm unreliable when it comes to that. And I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm like, I can do that in a day. And I'm like, no, that took me a week. Are you kidding? Like, so then that throws off everything. And I was just like, yeah, I'm trying to get better at that part of time management, of actually figuring out how much I can do in a certain amount of time, because it's like, yeah, I can plan things, but then I won't follow anything, and it's just, I mess everything up. So,
but I think, you know, one thing that for me has been really beneficial is writing down everything that I do get done, because I can kind of learn from that. And then the other thing is like, I want to be better about kind of not rewarding myself, but acknowledging the things that I've done, you know, and just like feeling good about them, because I think I'm always on to the next thing, you know. It's always like, okay, now the next goal, but I want to like, you know, be proud of myself for the things that I do get done. That's something I'm like trying to be better about maybe next year.
Yeah, I get that, because that's true, where I sit there and go, I didn't get any of the stuff done, but it's like, well, I should look at what I did manage to accomplish, even if it wasn't everything that I wanted. It's like, yeah, I gotta not be hard on myself about it. I like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you get a ton done. Just the fact that you've already finished NaNoWriMo, like, that's amazing.
But like, I will go, like, I might do NaNoWriMo, but then I won't do anything in December. Like, that's the thing. It's like, I will get a lot done in a short amount of time and then do nothing for a long time. And I'm just like, okay, that's not going to work for me. Like, I want to be more stable in my routine, basically. So, yeah.
That makes sense.
All right. Let's see how everybody else did. Nishia got 330. Awesome. Wendy, 334. Taya, 44. Just 44. That's okay. Wendy says, what a cute puppo.
Oh, thanks.
What's your puppo's name?
Sadie.
Sadie. Okay, so Marissa's got a Rosie and you've got a Sadie. Okay. We got the cute names. He said lots of reread, but got 410. Awesome. I do spend a lot of time rereading things, so yeah. I'm basically rewriting a lot of stuff right now, so it's hard for me to keep track of the word count, but I end up figuring it out by the end of the night, so. Lena got 605 words. Awesome. And over 5K for the day. That's a really good day. That's awesome. A good day for me right now is like 3,000. So
yeah.
So 5,000 is still like a stretch, and then like I can do a 10K, but like I don't want to do anything for days afterwards. So is it worth it? I don't know. I don't know. Ariel 166 is sidetracked by distractions. That happens. That definitely happens. I know that feeling. Okie dokie. Well, I feel pretty good after having done those sprints. I managed to finish a few sections, and I went back to my Scrivener and copied and pasted all the sections that I had not done recently and did the scene card descriptions for those, because I realized I was like 10 behind, and I was like, I got to keep up with that or I'm not going to remember to keep doing that. So I was like, yeah, that's the whole reason I'm using the Scrivener is for the scene cards.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I kind of am thinking about switching to Scrivener, because it's got those really cool tools that the one that I'm using doesn't.
Oh, yeah. And that's basically all I use for Scrivener right now is the scene cards.
The note cards? Okay.
Yeah. Because I don't really use anything else in Scrivener, as other people who use everything with it. Character profiles, the world profiles, all the information, like your series Bible, can be put into Scrivener. And so I think that would be helpful, but I have an entire wiki, so.
I actually have a question for you about Scrivener. So in the text editor, can you do accents, like for foreign languages and stuff?
Let me see.
Because in mine, I can't.
I don't know. Let me see if I can.
Or I guess I could research it. That's something I'm hoping it has.
Yeah, because I was like, I haven't looked at that. Like, because like the way like Word does, like it does have that option pretty easily, but
because you can do like special symbols and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe they do, and I don't know where it is. So if someone else happens to be more competent with Scrivener and has used some other things, let us know, because
just a random. My last book had a lot of French in it, and so there are a lot of accents, in that language, and so
I see in edit there's emoji and symbols.
Oh, okay.
So let me see. Okay, actual emojis. I'm like, okay, that's not really what I wanted. I wanted like, yeah, those are symbols. I was like,
you can put emojis into your text.
I guess in the Scrivener, yeah. So no, they've got like symbols like the copyright symbol type stuff.
Oh, okay.
Degrees Celsius, degrees Fahrenheit. So it's like, I'm not sure if it does have it where it is located. Like, let's see. Oh, what's happening? Wendy says, this one shot I've been working on was supposed to be fairly short, but I'm at 10,000 words in it and still going. That's okay. I mean, I don't think one shots have to have a limit, right? Like, they can be as long as they need to be. Oh, let's see. Sunny, 3 scenes done and so close to 30K. Awesome.
Awesome.
I'm so proud of everybody getting work done. Alina says, I don't remember having a problem with accents. I've written in Spanish in it before, I think, but I have my keyboard set for multiple keyboard configurations. So, okay.
I wonder how you do that. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be something to look into because I have never thought about that for Scrivener.
I found a workaround, which basically I'll just Google the word and then it'll show with the accent. And so I'll just copy and paste it and then it'll paste in, no problem. But it just kind of slows me down a little bit. But yeah, that's been working. I was just curious.
Yeah, somebody probably knows, or like maybe on the Scrivener website, because they have a whole like tutorial about it. It's literature and latte or something like that. But yeah, like they've got a long tutorial, so maybe somewhere in there buried.
Yeah.
Let's see. Shia says, can you still go on NaNoWriMo in December? Yeah, their website is up all year round, and you can actually use like their project trackers year round. So you can always create a new project and update your stats and just have a goal year round. And they have like a timer function as well. So you can do time sprints through the Nano website. So all that is like available year round. It's just the actual 50K community that goes on isn't really there, but you can still use it for your own online tracking, basically. I do that, so that's why I know.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't know that because it didn't used to be a thing. But last year, I found out that I was like, hey, you can actually just make your own projects and keep track of them. So I did.
Oh.
I sometimes forget to update it, but because I do everything in my planner, so it's hard for me to remember about online websites. But yes, the website's still around. I don't know if the forums are. They might be, but they might not be as active year round is the only thing, just because the community really only perks up in October and November. And I guess it'll be the same website for Camp NaNoWriMo though. So that'll be April and July. So we've got some months throughout the year that it'll perk up. I don't know what the website's going to be like for the camps now though, because the cabins aren't around right now. So maybe if they bring them back, but that's the only thing like I kind of missed about it. But yeah, so yeah, that website's available year round. I
wonder how many people try to do 50,000 words during Camp NaNoWriMo. Do a lot of people do that?
I think a lot of people do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people still just keep that goal as like the nano goal, you know?
Okay.
And I think that's fine, but I think there's more of us who end up using camps for editing and revising projects. I think there's far more of us doing that, because if you do use Nano for drafting, it's like, yeah, by the time April rolls around, it's like, yeah, you're definitely ready to be working on another draft and revising. Right. And then usually like July comes around, it's like you're either revising again or you're like, maybe this time I can work on a new project. Maybe.
Yeah. So, but I feel like if you write something in April, because then May, June, because you've got 2 months in between. I like to let things sit for a month after I finish them before I pick them up again. Do you do that? Or you like let it rest?
I didn't this time, only because by the time I finished the book, you know, it had been 2 years since I had worked on the beginning of it. So I didn't remember the beginning of it. So it was easy for me to just go into the beginning and start rewriting from there. And that's kind of been okay for me because it's also fresh in my mind what I did write for the end. So I'm like, okay, now I remember where I'm supposed to be going and what I'm supposed to be fixing and consistency type stuff. So it's interesting for that. But yes, normally I would absolutely give it a break and like draft something else in between before picking it up, and probably something in a different genre or working on a series, then I work on the next book, I guess. So if I'm prepared, if I'm prepared for that. Not always prepared, but sometimes prepared.
Yeah. I'm excited to kind of get into the flow of writing new things, like, because my last novel, I had been working on it for a couple of years, and just now working on something new, it's just so, it's crazy just to shift my mind into this new story with new characters and everything. So I'm trying to get better at that, you know, and after that NaNoWriMo's done, to start working on something else. It'll just be, because I just want to get, I just would like to get projects finished, you know, in a more timely manner than
exactly.
5 years.
Just so many of us have spent years working on a single project that it's like, we find it hard to actually get into the groove of like finishing a project in a timely manner so that like you're actually making progress of some sort. It's like most of us have the goal of publication or querying agents, and we're like, we're spending too long on a single book. And I'm just like, I feel that. I feel that so much because it's like last year I did write another project. I did that for Author Mentor Match. Nothing ended up happening with it, but I liked that project. It's still set in the same world. It's just completely different characters and a different storyline. So it's even fun just to explore that kind of stuff differently. And, you know, getting to write even just this novella, which has one of the same characters just 5 years prior, even doing that, something different, and actually being able to complete it, that was nice. That was a nice feeling. Even knowing it was a novella, I was like, I finished it though. Like, I finished it, and it's short enough that when I have to revise it, it won't take me years. Like, good grief. So oh, let me see. Lena's giving us some advice.
Some advice, yay.
I found this quick list of how to add languages to the keyboard. Did it long ago and had forgotten. Press the Windows key. I don't know if you have Windows.
Yes.
You do? Okay.
Yes.
So you press the Windows key and the letter I.
Okay. I'm gonna have to write this down so I can do it later in case.
It'll remain in the chat, but yeah.
Okay.
Click time and language icon, and then click the region and language on the left list, and click add a language and choose the language that you want to add. Okay. So like if you're writing in French, I guess you can add French to the keyboard maybe.
Oh, okay. So you just add it, but you're not replacing English.
Right. It's just multi, I guess. Yeah. Then press Windows key.
Between languages. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you.
Let's see. Downside is that you need to know the keyboard distribution of the language you're writing with. So I strongly recommend the international keyboard. Oh yeah, that is a thing.
Oh.
An international keyboard.
Yeah, I can see how that would be tricky.
It keeps the simple distribution of the English one, but allows the use of accents and the like. I see that would actually be really handy for people who do use other languages a lot. That's very interesting. Because like reading Rayleigh's book, she would have Spanish in there sometimes. So it's like you could see that being helpful in trying to write Spanish sentences. Like, yes, we can write it as is and just add the accents ourselves, but you never know. So like, if you do a lot of it, I could see it being worth it. Sorry for the wall of text. Don't be sorry, Lena. That's helpful. That's stuff that we did not know, or I'm too lazy to look up. So, so thank you for giving us the information.
Yeah,
that's very awesome. Interesting. I don't have Windows. I have a Mac, so I'm not sure how that works, but I can always look it up. I have no need for that though, because when I'm sitting here like, oh, they're speaking Portuguese. I will just say they're speaking Portuguese
Yeah.
and write it in English. Like, I was like, I am not even going to try to butcher anybody's languages. All right. Like, I'm just not doing it. Oh, so yeah.
I really to incorporate French into my story because I love French. I started taking French in high school, and I took it for years. And it was just something that was like special for me to make sure that it was in there, even though I could have just said, you know, he says it in French. I was like, no, I want a little bit of French. I didn't want too much for people that don't know French and then they don't know what they're saying, but I just wanted it in there for myself selfishly.
That's okay. Yeah, no, I think that's a good thing. That's very, very interesting. Yeah, I think that's always just like a preference for the writers. Like, people incorporate other languages into their writing differently. So some people just full out put the language and then just don't translate it, and they just keep going. And I'm like, you could at least have the character respond to it in a way that like we understand the context, because otherwise I was like, I'm lost now because you've given me a paragraph in a language I don't speak or read, and I'm just like, what's happening? So yes, I at least would prefer characters to say something so that you know what they're talking about, to be like, yes, this thing is here. You asked, like, so then you get like, okay, they're asking about this thing. Like, maybe people wouldn't talk like that, but like, you need to do it in a novel, maybe, like.
No, speaking of, so I read Wuthering Heights recently, and one of the, have you read it?
It's one of my favorites.
Oh, really? Okay, so which character was it? I want to say his name is Joseph. Is that right? Am I remembering? Well,
that might be him. Yeah.
It's the way that he speaks and the way that it's written. I could not understand anything that he was saying, and it was like reading a foreign language to me.
It is. Yeah, it was like Pidgin English or something. And when you're trying to read it, and you're like, like there's just parts of words and vowels dropped, and you're just like, this is a language. I understand this is supposed to be my language, but I'm not seeing the connection here. Yeah.
I had to start skimming over it. I'm like, I can't even, I just don't know what he's saying.
Yeah. That's why sometimes when people are like, it's like, write the dialect of your characters. I'm like, okay, but not too much. Like, let people be able to understand the characters, what they're saying, because like they're reading it, so they need to be able to understand it. So no, I've definitely had moments like it's done in a lot of classics, I've noticed, but nowadays I'm like, just the dialect can be toned down a little bit. So,
I think Hagrid was like that too, right, in Harry Potter. But I could always understand what Hagrid was saying, but he had his own, dialect.
Just a little bit, and I think that was supposed to be more like, I don't know if I want to say Scottish or something, but something like that. That it's, I don't know. It's not like Pidgin English. Like, you can still kind of understand it on the page. So let's see. Wendy said Wuthering Heights is a good read. I agree.
I enjoyed it.
It's a very interesting read, especially if you're reading other things around the same time period, and you're reading like Jane Eyre. It's still very different to Jane Eyre, and I think people think it's going to be similar because the sisters wrote it, and I'm like, no, not really. Like, they're both gothic, but like, no, Wuthering Heights is messed up. But it's lovely. I love it.
It was not what I was expecting, but like, really, I thought it was. I just thought it was going to be something very different. But because I didn't watch the movie or anything, I had no idea what the story was when I read the book just recently. But I really enjoyed it. For like, once I realized what it was, I was like, okay, this is.
What do you think of the format of like telling the story within a story type of thing that it started out as? That sometimes gets people at the beginning, where they're like he's talking to this person, and then that person's telling the story, and then he's having his own experiences, and then we really get into the story, and it's like, I was like, that's a thing back then. Like,
that was the thing.
Just have the story. They had to have the story told to them by someone else.
Right.
Plus it's like, it's a ghost story, basically. So, and people aren't expecting it.
That's a good way to think about it. I hadn't thought about it like that. It's like a ghost story, but it confused me. I was okay. Who are these people at the beginning? I was like, it's not who I thought the story was about. I was pretty confused, but once I realized what it was, I don't know. But now that you mention it, kind of in that aspect, I think that's interesting. I could have done without it, just that beginning part, because I was like,
for sure.
Tell it in, But
I mean, it's interesting because you see Heathcliff like after the fact, after everything. So it's like, for that reason, it's like, it's kind of interesting, but at the same time, you're like, I don't need the whole story being told to me like this. Like, but okay, like, it's interesting. So
once you get used to it, then then you're good.
When it says the copy I read gave translation at the bottom of the page for his dialogue.
Oh,
that's so interesting.
So helpful.
I don't think any of the copies I have had that. I'd have to look to see if any of them do. Like, that'd be interesting. That's like, I would think that's necessary. That's like in high school when you're reading Shakespeare, and oftentimes they give you the copies where it's Shakespeare on the left and like interpreted English on the right, so you know what they're actually saying, and everyone was like, that makes it a lot easier. But they're like, I'm basically just reading that page, like I'm not reading the Shakespeare part. And I was like, you're missing out, man. Like, you're missing out on some of the best things that he says because of the way he says it. And and people don't understand. I don't know.
I like the copies where, when you said that, I was thinking of the ones where I think I've seen they kind of elaborate on it and give notes and things like that. I really like
that'd be interesting.
Kind of analytical sort of. But I love Shakespeare so much.
Me too. There's a few specific plays that I like the most, but Shakespeare's a good one. Not everybody likes him, but I was like, you just got to get used to it. Trust me. Like, it's an acquired taste. And she says, I'm happy I find out about NaNoWriMo this month, and we'll be ready November 1st next year. I know I won't get all the words this time. I enjoy everyone in NaNoWriMo. See, that's a good outlook to have, because it's like, even if you don't get all the words, NaNoWriMo is still worth it to try and challenge yourself and enjoy the community and support one another. Like, that's mostly what I'm in NaNoWriMo for. It's like, can we all get together and write some words? Hopefully. But I'm mostly in it for the community. So that's where I'm at. But
totally. I've met so many great people. Just, once I started diving into the online writing community, it's just so crazy, because you come for once, but you always, well, at least in my experience, you come for one thing and you stay for another. You stay for the people, you stay for all these other things. You just start learning stuff that you didn't expect.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah. All right. Well, we've been on here for 2.5 hours. So,
flew by.
So if anybody knows my live streams, like, this is kind of what ends up happening, is that I like to chat, and I like to chat about writing stuff in between sprints. But I at least got some stuff done, and we got some interesting chats. But maybe from now on, I'll try to do like a weekly thing that's just a chatting. So maybe the weekly writing sprints can just be sprints for the most part. Because I was like, I got to get my talking out of me. I want to talk about the writing process and different stuff with people. But I realized some people just want to do more writing sprints. And I'm like, I know. Like, but I'm having fun chatting with people. So like, one of these days, I'm just going to be like, okay, a pop-up chat. Okay, we're just chatting. We're just chatting about writing. Okay.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Stephanie, don't worry about it, because we are pretty much wrapping up. We were just chatting for like the last half hour or while. Like we did one last sprint, but that's okay. So we are pretty much wrapping it up. And everybody that's still here, thank you for joining us. I had a really good time. Thank you, Christy, for co-hosting. Christy's information is linked down below, so please go follow her channel if you don't already. And if you are looking for more life sprints, there is a Google Calendar link listed down below. So that has a list of as many like AuthorTube write-ins that I could find, and it's a lot. And I am doing one again tomorrow with Timmy, who was also here, Create with Timmy, on her channel at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then we're gonna stream hop again to my channel at noon Pacific Standard Time. So that'll be fun. And yeah, if that's good for now, it says there's still a lot of you watching, but nobody's talking. So no, I just think it was funny. But yeah, we've been chatting for quite a while, and I had a lot of fun. So thank you so much for chatting and writing with us, Christy. I love this. I hope you'll do this more and do some on your own channel now, right?
Yeah, I need to. This was great.
Awesome, because that would be that would be really fun. I had good progress for writing, revising, whatever I was doing, and a lot of good chatting about stuff. So yeah, this was a productive session, I would say.
yeah, for me too. I got through a couple scenes that, you know, I wasn't what was going to happen, but made something happen anyway, and so I'm happy.
Good. That is very good. All right. So it's like after 4:30 for me. I know it's a little bit later for you.
Yeah,
so
gotta go have dinner.
Yeah. Okay. It's almost dinner time for me, sort of. So yeah, we're gonna call it a night, and I will see you guys tomorrow if you happen to join. Otherwise, you know, follow me if you do want to be updated. Follow Christy for when she wants to do live streams, but she also posts really good videos too. So like, just go follow her. Just go follow her. All right. The comments are not coming in very fast, but bye, Lena. Thank you. Bye, Mundi. It was very nice to chat with you and get some good words in. And yeah, that's it. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Bye.